The moment our hands touched as he returned my repaired shoe, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. This single father CEO wasn't supposed to be anything more than a random stranger who helped me in a moment of crisis. But sometimes, life's most beautiful chapters begin with broken heels and chance encounters, asterisk. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming content that reminds us all that love can find us in the most unexpected places. I never believed in fate until that rainy Tuesday afternoon. My name is Sophia Mitchell, and I was rushing to the most important interview of my career when disaster struck. The heel of my favorite black pumps, the ones I specifically bought for power meetings, snapped clean off as I hurried across the marble lobby of the Westfield Tower. The sound of it breaking echoed through the space like a gunshot, followed by my undignified stumble that sent my portfolio flying across the polished floor. Red-faced and fighting tears, I scrambled to gather my scattered papers while balancing awkwardly on one heel. That's when I heard his voice, deep, calm, and unexpectedly kind. Rough morning? I looked up to see a tall man in an impeccably tailored charcoal suit kneeling beside me, helping collect my documents. His eyes were a warm hazel that crinkled slightly at the corners when he smiled, and despite my mortification, I noticed how his dark hair was just beginning to silver at the temples. You could say that, I managed, trying to maintain some semblance of dignity. I have an interview in 15 minutes, and now. I gestured helplessly at my broken shoe. He examined the heel with surprising interest. I might be able to fix this. My office is on the 40th floor. If you'd like to follow me? Under normal circumstances, I would never have followed a stranger, but something about his gentle demeanor put me at ease. Plus, I was desperate. I'm interviewing at Meridian Partners on 38, I explained as we stepped into the elevator. Ah, he said with a slight smile. Then we're practically neighbors. When we reached his floor, I was surprised to see the nameplate beside the massive double doors, Alexander Reed, CEO. I just accepted help from the head of Reed Enterprises, one of the city's most prestigious financial firms. His executive assistant looked up in surprise as we entered. Mr. Reed, your 10:30 is waiting in the conference room. Tell them I'll be 15 minutes late, Diane. We have an emergency. He gestured to my broken shoe, and Diane's expression softened with understanding. Alexander led me to his office, a spacious corner suite with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. But instead of directing me to one of the sleek leather chairs facing his desk, he surprised me by opening a cabinet to reveal a small toolkit. My daughter Emma is always breaking things, he explained, noticing my confusion. I've become something of an amateur repairman out of necessity. As he worked on my heel with surprising dexterity, I learned that Alexander was a widower raising his 8-year-old daughter alone. His wife had passed away from cancer 3 years earlier, leaving him to navigate the challenges of single parenthood while running a major corporation. Emma's teacher calls me at least once a week, he said with a rueful smile. Last Thursday, she tried to improve the class hamster cage with parts from her science kit. The hamster escaped, and chaos ensued. I couldn't help but laugh, imagining this powerful CEO chasing a rodent around an elementary school classroom. There was something incredibly endearing about the way his expression softened when he spoke about his daughter. There, he said finally, handing me back my repaired shoe. It's not perfect, but it should hold for your interview. Our fingers brushed as I took the shoe, and I felt an unexpected flutter in my chest. Thank you, I said sincerely. You've saved me today. Good luck with your interview, he replied. They'd be fools not to hire you. I left his office with restored confidence and made it to my interview with 2 minutes to spare. The broken heel held, and perhaps bolstered by my encounter with Alexander, I gave one of the best interviews of my life. A week later, I received the job offer from Meridian Partners. On my first day, I found a small gift box on my new desk containing a pair of elegant emergency flats with a note, for future crises. Congratulations on the new position. R. Working 2 floors below Alexander meant our paths crossed occasionally. We'd exchange smiles in the elevator or nod to each other in the building's cafe. Each brief interaction left me with a lingering warmth that I tried to dismiss as simple gratitude for his kindness that first day. Then came the company charity gala. As a new employee, I felt obligated to attend, though the thought of an evening of forced small talk with colleagues filled me with dread. I was standing alone by the bar, contemplating an early escape, when I heard that now familiar voice. "The emergency flats didn't match your dress?" I turned to find Alexander smiling at me, looking devastatingly handsome in a tuxedo. "I decided to live dangerously tonight," I replied, lifting my foot to show him my intact heels. "Very brave," he said with mock seriousness. "I'm impressed." Our conversation flowed easily after that. We discovered shared interests in obscure documentaries and classic novels. He told me more about Emma, who was apparently going through a phase of wanting to become an astronaut veterinarian chef. I shared stories about my own childhood dreams and the winding path that had led me to finance. As the evening progressed, I found myself drawn to Alexander in a way that went beyond his obvious good looks or success. There was a genuine warmth to him, a vulnerability beneath his confident exterior that made me want to know more. "Would you like to have dinner sometime?" he asked as the event wound down. "With Emma and me," he added quickly. "She's been asking about the lady with the broken shoe ever since I told her the story." That dinner was the first of many. Emma was a whirlwind of energy and questions, with her father's eyes and a creativity that both exhausted and delighted me. Over the following months, our relationship evolved naturally. Weekend outings to museums and parks. Quiet evenings after Emma went to bed, talking over glasses of wine. Alexander helping me prepare for a big presentation. Me attending Emma's school science fair. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Alexander carried deep wounds from his wife's death, and I had my own baggage from past relationships. There were moments when he pulled away, afraid of opening himself to potential loss again. Times when I questioned whether I could ever truly fit into the life he'd built with his daughter. The breaking point came 6 months into our relationship. Emma had grown increasingly attached to me, and one evening after I'd helped her with a difficult homework assignment, she looked up at me with those earnest eyes and asked, "Are you going to be my new mom?" I froze, unsure how to respond, and Alexander's expression closed off immediately. After Emma went to bed, he confronted me. "This is moving too fast," he said, his voice tight. "Emma's getting too attached. I can't let her be hurt again." "You mean you can't risk being hurt again?" I countered, finally voicing the frustration that had been building. "You're using Emma as an excuse because you're scared." His face hardened. "You don't understand what it's like to lose someone the way I lost Claire. To watch your child grieve her mother." "No, I don't," I admitted. "But I do understand what it's like to love someone who won't fully let you in. I can't compete with a ghost, Alexander." I left his apartment that night convinced our relationship was over. For weeks, we avoided each other at work, the distance between us growing with each passing day. I threw myself into my job, staying late and coming in early to minimize the chance of running into him. Then one rainy afternoon, eerily similar to the day we'd met, my office door opened, and Emma burst in, followed by a harried-looking Alexander. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. "She insisted on seeing you, and Diane let us through." Emma marched up to my desk, her small face set with determination. "Dad's been really sad," she announced. "And he won't fix it because he's being stupid." "Emma." Alexander looked mortified. "It's true," she insisted. "Mom wouldn't want him to be sad forever. She told me that before she went to heaven." She turned back to me. "He likes you a lot. And I like you too. You don't have to be my mom if you don't want to, but can you please come back and make Dad happy again?" I looked from Emma's earnest face to Alexander's, seeing the vulnerability and hope he was trying to hide. Your dad needs to tell me that himself, I said gently. Alexander knelt down to Emma's level. Sweetheart, can you wait with Diane for a few minutes? I need to talk to Sophia alone. After Emma left, Alexander stood before me, looking more uncertain than I'd ever seen him. I'm sorry, he began. You were right. I was scared. After Claire died, I built walls around Emma and myself, thinking I was protecting us both. But these past weeks without you. He paused, struggling for words. I realized I was just hiding. Claire would have hated that. He took a step closer. I can't promise I won't be afraid sometimes. But I can promise to try. To let you in. To build something new, not in place of what I had with Claire, but alongside those memories. That's all I ever wanted, I said softly. Just the chance to try. Together. When he kissed me then, it felt like coming home. Like the beginning of something real and lasting, built not on perfect circumstances but on the messy, beautiful truth of who we were. A year later, Alexander proposed during a family picnic in the park, with Emma holding the ring box and bouncing with excitement. 2 years after that, we welcomed a baby boy who had his father's eyes and his sister's boundless energy. Life isn't perfect. Alexander still has moments when grief catches him unexpectedly. Emma sometimes tests boundaries as she navigates growing up with a blended family. And I occasionally wonder if I'm doing enough, being enough, for this family that has become my own. But on the difficult days, I remember that broken heel and the chance encounter that changed everything. How sometimes, the things that seem like disasters in the moment can lead us exactly where we need to be. So if you're watching this and waiting for your own life to make sense, remember that healing and love often find us when we least expect them. Sometimes all it takes is the courage to follow a kind stranger to the 40th floor, or the willingness to fix what's broken, whether it's a shoe or a heart. If this story touched you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share in the comments if you've ever had an unexpected encounter that changed your life. Remember, the most beautiful love stories don't always begin with perfect circumstances, sometimes they start with broken heels and end with mended hearts.